Welcome to the Florida Trail Runners Project. Out in the woods, out in the swamps, down by the Willie Coochie. It started with a podcast, now it's a thing. The Florida Trail Runners, Florida Trail Runners.
All right, here we are with episode 130 of the Florida Trail Runners podcast. And on the chat, we've got Rylee Blade. And recently, she took on the meet record in her debut for the 10,000 meter at the ACC Championships with a time of 32:35:72. And she recently set the new program record in the women's 5,000 meter with a time of 15:29:45 for Florida State University. You know, before going to FSU, she was one of the most dominant high school distance runners America has seen in recent years. You know, California state champion, national record holder, sub 15:20 for the 5K. And hey, you know, here we are with some early success in her true freshman year at Florida State University. So there's a lot of great things to come. And hey, you know, with that, let's just jump right into it.
Can you hear me?
Oh, sweet. It worked. Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool. It's probably like technology being technology. Like hit or miss. Yeah. There's like a girl that I raced in high school. Her mom does ultras and stuff. And I remember listening to one of her YouTube videos and she's like, yeah, just this 10-mile segment. And I'm like, 10 miles? That's my long run sometimes. I'm like, and she's just doing that for one segment. So I'm like, the mental side that they have to go through, like, you kind of just have to shut off your brain.
I feel like you do to an extent. When it gets dark outside and you've been up for already 12 hours of running, it is nice when the sun goes down because then it gets a little mindless.
Stars are out. Yeah.
But I guess, you know, like, how are you feeling coming off of the 10K at ACCs?
I'm pretty excited just because I honestly didn't know what to expect going into it because I've never done one. I knew like threshold, I like that type of pace. So I was kind of excited to do it, but I just didn't know how it was going to go. And then the fact that I was able to come out with the win and I kind of just tried to execute what my coach gave me and I did it perfectly to how she wanted it. It was kind of just like surreal moment. I'm super happy with it, but I'm also like, I know there's room to improve. So I'm kind of just focusing on the next race now. And not trying, like I'm celebrating it, but you can't get like too high on the highs and you can't get too low on the lows. So I just try and get back to work now.
Especially as the wins come, it is a nice point to look at it and go, all right, here's where we're at. We're, you know, the trajectory is in the right direction.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Like I remember coming off of indoor, I was not happy whatsoever because I didn't run to where I should have. I kind of hit a mental block for indoor. So I never performed where I should have. So I feel like now everything's starting to kind of click a little bit more. And after indoor, like I really had to like take a step back and be like, I kind of realized how much the mental side can affect you in a race. So I kind of just had to like lean onto my support system. And now like that I was able to win ACCs and stuff, it kind of makes everything worth it in the end. Like, yeah, some stuff kind of sucks in the moment, but I feel like it helps build and makes the good moments like this that much better. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, you know, if we go all the way back, you know, before high school, college, you know, all the rankings, I mean, growing up, like, how did you get into running? You know, like kind of what brought you onto the track and go out for cross country?
Honestly, I was a soccer player my entire life growing up. So I'd had like some endurance and stuff, but I did elementary track just because like soccer, I was in shape or whatever. So I did the 800. I think in 6th grade, I ran like 2:26 or whatever. So I knew that like I had potential in it, but soccer was always my main sport. And then COVID had hit and soccer like shut down, California shut down, everything shut down. So we were traveling like we had to go to Arizona pretty much every single weekend to either compete in a meet or play a soccer game. And I kind of just noticed that I had, like, I was like soccer, I could have gone far with it. I was on a nationally ranked team, but I knew running is black and white. It's not as like subjective, like, it won't be as political. So I kind of like the fact that you can push your own self and make like your own decisions with it. And then when I got into high school, I actually ended up breaking my foot, twisting it on a rock, running up a hill. So I didn't have a freshman year. I had cross country, but I didn't have track. And just seeing like the stuff that my teammates had done, it made me just more eager to get back. And then also freshman year to sophomore year, I hit a huge growth spurt. I grew about 6 inches, which was insane. So I was dealing with like a lot of different like growing pains and stuff. So I guess like the time that I did break my foot, ended up working out because I was growing that time too, but it was right on the growth plate. So I had to be careful with it. So I didn't do any like type of physical activity for almost like 4 or 5 months. But when I got back, I slowly started to build. My coach helped me set goals and stuff. My mom was a collegiate runner. She was a sprinter. My dad was athletic. My brother's athletic. Like we kind of just have like, we like getting after it. So my dad got me into the gym. We started weightlifting. We kind of just focused on everything, and we kind of just, I don't know, I kind of built my life around running when I came back, and I was just determined to kind of do the best that I could and push myself. But I was pretty like, I've never been super high mileage, so I just get out there and do it because I think it's fun. But for the most part, like growing up, I was always soccer. And then I got into high school sophomore year. I ended up in track winning my first state title, and I ran 10:02. And at the time, like that was insane for me because I took 20 seconds off in that race. And then like junior year, I kept like building on to it. And then senior year, I kept building onto that. And I feel like everything since breaking my foot to where I am now has all kind of like led me to this 10K, because like originally I would never have done 10K because I was never that type of mileage or anything. Like even now I'm not super high mileage. So
Yeah, because that's the one thing I noticed. Like your freshman year, I think you were like 17:13. Coming into the sophomore year, you were 16:39. And then your junior year, you dropped down to 15:32.
yeah, there was like, so Woodbridge was like the main race for us like those years. And I remember junior year, we had the rain course for CIF, which was later in the season. So it was like closer to our peak fitness. And that was where I ran the 15:32. So I dropped time from my Woodbridge time, which is typically your fastest race of the season, to that one because it was later in the season and it was on a fast course. So I feel like that also helped my time drop. But it was also the fact like when I came back my sophomore year, well, freshman year, I can say this, I did not like running. I wanted to go back to soccer. I felt like it was the worst thing ever. And then when I did break my foot and I saw what my teammates were doing, it made me eager to get back because I'm like, I want to do this. So then I had like goals set, and I feel like I just kept building on my fitness, and it eventually kept leading me to like dropping time and stuff. And I also had a really good support system. Like my mom like I went to somewhere called the sports clinic every morning, and that was just to kind of like, not injury wise, we used it as maintenance, because if you keep getting like the work done, like scraping, cupping, everything, your muscles tend to recover faster. So I was never like dealing with something. I kind of just used it as a tool for myself because it was free through the school. Like before school, it was like from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. You could go and it was free. So I just used it to my advantage. And I feel like I did the little things, and that helped me to eventually run these times because it kind of adds up over time.
Yeah, it's interesting how just modern recovery, I guess these days, like we now have the ability to really recover like fast.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely like, even now, like I use our trainers and stuff, like they help me with a lot of stuff, but then I also have a lot of stuff in my dorm room that I use for myself that is just like really easy. Like when I'm sitting on the couch at night, I'll throw on my Normatec boots or something. Like just, I feel like the little things always add up, and those are like the biggest things that can help you with your running, I guess, like because running is so like hard on your body. If you don't recover right, it's gonna catch up too.
Yeah, and usually that prep that you do prior to racing is how well you will recover after racing.
For sure. Because it's not just about like your training. Like you can't perform how you want to if you're not doing the right thing, if you're not like feeling the right way, if you're not like the recovery, if you're not like getting your sleep. Like there's so many different things that can lead to injuries and stuff that a lot of people just don't recognize. And I feel like that's somewhere that is just really important to me. I've always tried to prioritize my sleep. Like I I am not a night owl. I go to bed really early. I'm like an old grandma, but I feel like there's nothing that I need that will like keep me up. Like I don't see like a need for like scrolling on my phone at night or any of that like before bed. Like those little distractions that could keep you up. I feel like the that's somewhere where I'm like I don't want to be distracted in those ways, so I kind of just turn my phone on do not disturb and I just try and get my sleep.
I'm assuming you learned these things that freshman year, the sophomore year, your junior year, because I know coming into your high school senior season, I mean, you went sub 16, I think, what, 4 times?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, something like that. I think also a lot of it has to do like these days with like trackflation and stuff. And like the new technology with the shoes and everything. But senior year was like cross country. That was like a crazy year. Like I felt like everything was kind of lining up and I was able to win Inland Empire like the 4 years in a row. Like the hardest one was getting it that freshman year. And then I felt like that set me up kind of for the rest of the years. But senior year was really fun with competing wise.
Yeah, and I think that those 4 subs, I want to say you were the first in the state for high school to do that.
Oh, I didn't know that. But
I
um
don't know if that's a real stat, but
yeah,
I
honestly, I
I
felt like
thought
I
I
could
saw it
have
written
run
down.
I felt like I could have run faster too on some of those times. A lot of it was like even at the league meet, I did not expect to go under 16 that race. I felt like I was just cruising, but then when I saw my mile splits, I was like, "Oh, I have a shot to break 16." So that last mile, I really tried to like kick it in because I knew I had the 3 under 16. I was like, I kind of want a 4th. I'm like because I was kind of playing a game in my head. I was like, 1 for each year.
I mean, with all your sub 16s at the high school level, I mean, people start throwing around those like, "Hey, this is a new record. These are new stats." I mean, I feel like that's kind of a heavy weight when you're still a teenager.
Yeah, definitely, like, I try to stay off of it, like, as much as possible, but, like, the social media that like, people could be, like, saying all these different stuffs, and it could really affect you negatively, so I really try and stay off of that, so I think my parents knew everything that was being said because, like, my parents are always on social media, but I always try to, like, avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah, because I feel like it's weird how the expectation grows as that becomes the new normal. Whereas, like, you're just going to school, you still have homework, you still have to go to
Mhm.
practice, but online, everyone's analyzing every little detail of your race. Like, and I guess, did that pressure ever hit you?
Yeah, it definitely did, especially like when I had run my senior Woodbridge time. Everyone kind of would expect you to do like these amazing things like every single race. But at the end of the day, we're all human. You're not going to feel your best every single race. You're not going to like hit a PR every single race. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have really good highs and really low lows. So for me, it's kind of just being able to stay, I guess, like even in the head. And a way to do that was kind of trying to limit the social media that I was like for comments, like reading that stuff because adding extra pressure, I feel like is kind of dumb. I'm trying to do a sport that I like to do. So, um, I feel like just adding the extra pressure is just kind of dumb. So if I can like avoid reading it, I'll try and avoid reading it because I'm just trying to go out there and have fun with it rather than put so much pressure that I'm so nervous on the line that I'm like shaking. Like I feel like that's when you stop enjoying it and then you're not having fun and then you just like want to quit probably because that's not fun.
Yeah, I could definitely kind of relate to that because for me growing up in Ohio, so we had guys like Sam Prakel, he went off to Oregon, Sam Wharton, he went to Stanford, and then Clayton Murphy, who
Hmm.
obviously went to the Olympics. And I was always like that 3rd and 4th place guy behind those guys, but they were all a year ahead of me or 2. And suddenly, like when they all graduated, it was only me left. And now I feel like, at least for me, the expectation now was, well, hey, now Joe, you have to win all of these races. And I cracked on some of them. Some races I just blew it.
Yeah, I remember my mom telling me a story from when she was in high school. I think it was Miriam Jones. she was racing because she was a sprinter. She was a 100, 200 sprinter. But she had a former like Olympian in her race, and she psyched herself out so much. She made a joke that she watched her in the race because that girl was that far ahead of her because she just psyched herself out. And it was like one of the worst races she ever had. So I'm like for me, I try not to get all caught up with who's in the race. I try and run my own race, not let somebody else dictate it. And that was something that was hard for me coming into college because so many girls are so fast in college that like I'm still 18. I'm still pretty young for my age. Like I don't even turn 19 until the summer. So I'm kind of young compared to a lot of the girls. So a lot of people have a lot more experience than me. And I had to kind of like realize I can't run somebody else's race. I have to only run my race and not get all caught up in, well, this person can run this, this, and this. Cause at the end of the day, like you don't know how somebody's going to feel the day of. So you just want to go out there and run your own race.
And that's a good point too, because when you're training for yourself and to help your team when it comes to cross country.
Yeah. Like for me, I'm a big like team person. I love to help my team and stuff. So even in track, like, a lot of the reason why I did the double of the 10K, 5K is because I wanted to score as many points for the team because I feel like when you have a team behind you, you're running for something bigger than just yourself. Like, yeah, you want to run for yourself, but having like doing it for the team, there was many cross country races where I felt horrible. Like it felt like I got hit by a train, but I was like, one of the girls that I trained with, Bika, she was right next to me in the race. I'm like, we train together every single day. I just need to stick on to her and we kind of just need to help each other because it was pre-nats and it was like the race got moved up a day ahead of when it was supposed to be because of weather and stuff. And then we literally traveled that like hours before we got off the plane. And then we did a shakeout in the parking lot at like 8 o'clock at night or whatever, got up the next morning and ran the race. And it was not an ideal thing, but we wanted to score well for the team. So, at that point, like I did it more for the team rather than myself because I could have like anybody in that situation could have easily given up and be like, I don't feel good. I'm going to go slower. But for us, we want to perform well as a team. So we all do it for each other. And I feel like that's the same in track because you want to score team points. You can do that. But yeah, when you are training, you are wanting to help yourself too, because when you help yourself to get faster, you're also helping your team.
Yeah. And too, like when you're on the cross country course, usually your coach will tell you, hey, you're X far away from somebody else. Hey, they're catchable. So training against other people kind of doesn't make sense because if they have a bad day, well, now, I mean, you can't train to race a person. You should be training against the course and,
Yeah.
the distance.
Yeah. Like I kind of say you're kind of racing the clock. It's yourself against the clock because like you're just trying to get the lowest time possible.
I mean, I always enjoyed it.
Yeah. I feel like that's the thing about running though that I like. Like you can push yourself as much as you want. It's not like it is like a team cross country is like a team sport, but it's also an individual sport. And that's the nice thing because you can push yourself as much as you want, but you also have like the team behind you. So it makes it a lot more fun, especially with like traveling and stuff.
Yeah. And I guess kind of with that, I mean, transitioning into college, I mean, I'm assuming you had a lot of people reaching out to you. Like, how did you end up at FSU?
Honestly, Coach Halsey, her energy and just like how much she cares about her runners. Training's individualized, which I love. She has one-on-one meetings with us. I had never had Florida State on like my radar when I was going through the recruiting process. And then I met her and that completely changed. And then when I came on my visit, I met Coach Kane and I say it's like having a mom and a dad because she really is like a mom to me. And then Coach Kane reminds me so much of my dad. They look the exact same from the back. He's just a little bit taller and stuff, but they kind of act the same. Like it's honestly really fun. And then, the team, when I came on my visit, you could tell it wasn't fake. And, that was something that I was looking for. Like I wanted a good team behind me that was like genuine and like they weren't trying to hide anything. You can kind of like, they weren't hiding, like they were true about the coach. Like there was no like fakeness when I came on my visit, which I really love.
Yeah, I feel like the team culture is definitely one of
Mhm.
the big things, especially if you want to stay on that team.
Yeah, and it was one of those, like, when people say, "You know when you know." I left the visit, and 3 days later, I was calling Coach Halsey and telling her that I was committing.
And I think like individualized training, that is probably one of the most important things for a program. Cause I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of programs want to go like, hey, either you buy in
Mhm.
or you're just not going to, you're not going to make it. Cause
Yeah.
everyone, their bodies are so different.
Oh, definitely. Like, we have our training is so, like, different for so many different people. Like, we have girls anywhere from, like, maybe 20 miles a week all the way up until, like, 70, and then we have all the ones in between, and then we have ones that cross-train too, and, like, I think Coach Halsey probably spends hours doing this training, which but she says that she loves doing it, and I really appreciate it. So I couldn't be like, I'm so grateful for her and all that she does for our team.
Yeah, because I know, because my coach at St. Leo, he was very down for the individualized stuff too. Like for me, I came into season in the high 90s, and throughout season, I would just slowly drop mileage up to nationals. Whereas we had other guys on the team who were going 60 to 70. We had other guys who were 40s to 50s. Some guys have different tempo workouts, different progression builds, different forms of fartleks, or even stuff like strides versus bounding.
Yeah, that's kind of like similar to us too, because we have, depending on workouts, different numbers for each person. I remember this season there was one workout where I don't know how Coach Halsey was able to control all this, but I think there was like 5 watches going at once. And I'm like, personally, me, I would be forgetting which watches for which group, and but she's really good at that stuff, so it's really impressive.
Yeah, and I think, like for that transition from high school in California to college in Florida, I mean, what was that transition like for you?
Fall was actually pretty because we came to campus about 2 weeks before school even started, so I was settled in before school started. Pretty easy first semester, and because you weren't traveling as much for cross country, you're kind of just training. And then when we got into track, it was still fine, but like track, you definitely travel more, so you have to be constantly on top of your schoolwork while traveling, but it's kind of nice because you do have a lot of time to do it. But the workload from like academic wise from high school to college is definitely a lot more. So you really have to prioritize like when you're traveling the time that you have and making sure you do your schoolwork. Like I know for myself, I would always, because I'm up pretty early, so I would get up and usually from 8 to, maybe like 2 hours a day or whatever, I would set aside time to do just schoolwork. Or like depending what time we were practicing that day while we were traveling, I would try and do at least 2 hours of schoolwork, and it definitely helped me stay on top of all my work. But that was the biggest change was the academic part, workload.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes people do forget that you're a student athlete. You're a
Mhm.
student before you're an athlete.
Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, I want my degree, so I have to definitely, do the student part, and I feel like that's something that I'm good at. I'm good at with, like, managing my time. It went pretty smoothly.
And I mean, I guess in your day to day, like a normal training schedule, kind of like what does that look like for you? Like, are you focusing on certain things? Are you watching splits, different thresholds, all that kind of stuff?
My coach kind of controls that. I kind of just get out there each day and try and do what she gives me for that day. So I don't have to stress about any of that usually just because my coach is telling me what splits to hit for the day. But I know for me, I definitely like everyone asks me like what my favorite workout is. I'm like, definitely threshold. Like I like doing just a lot of threshold work.
And I guess for people who don't maybe understand like what kind of threshold workouts there are, because I feel like there's a lot of different methodologies you can do to achieve some kind of threshold work. I guess like what kind of threshold work are you doing?
We do continuous like threshold where it's just like a straight like tempo or threshold type effort, or we'll do like ones that like repeats. And we kind of, for threshold work, we never do static rest. We'll finish the rep and you kind of just keep jogging. And then you start again, but it's not like a fartlek. So it's a little bit different. But there's just Yeah, you're right. Like there's so many different types of ones that you could do, but for us, like we do a lot of different type of stuff. So I wouldn't say that there's one exact type threshold thing that we do. We kind of do a lot of different type of stuff.
Also, it depends, I guess, where you're at in the season too, when you're
Hmm.
building the engine versus kind of tweaking things.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely like right now, because all the work's done at this point, you kind of just need to fine tune like everything, like little tune ups or just doing like the little things right now. Because at the where we are right now in the season, you can't really do anything else. Like where you're at is kind of where you're at. You just need to make sure that like you're race ready.
Which I guess that makes sense. I mean, coming into the 5,000 meter, the school record, was the idea of breaking the 5,000 meter record, was that realistic to you? Like, did you have that in mind?
It was in my mind just because in high school I ran 15:16 and even I ran the 15:29, but I definitely know that I can still drop time on that. I honestly didn't feel like we were pushing that hard until maybe the last K, but I knew that I had, with probably about a mile to go, that I was on pace to kind of break it. So I really just tried to stick on Allie for as much as possible that race, and see what I could do. And I was pretty happy with how it went, but I definitely know that I could take time off. So it was a really good moment, but it was also kind of one of those like, oh, I know I could go faster and I wish it went out a little bit faster.
How the race goes out can definitely play a role, especially if you're looking at the time, your 400 meter splits. Are there things that you think that played a role coming into ACCs?
Yeah, I feel like each race that I've had this entire year has kind of taught me something, whether it goes good or bad. I always try and take something that from it that I learned. And I feel like ACCs, was the best racing I've done, like tactic wise, because I was finally able to like open up at the end of the race. I didn't let anybody else dictate my race when in the 10K when I felt good, I just went. I didn't let anybody else like control that race for me. I kind of just my coach wanted me because it was my first one to sit at first. And then I felt amazing with like 4 miles to go and I kind of just looked at her and she just said go. So I just went and I gradually like squeezed down the pace and was able to close my last lap around, I forgot what it was, maybe like around 70 or something. So I was really happy with that. And then on the 5K, I was actually shocked when I realized our last mile was 4:47 because that was my 9th mile of racing that weekend or something. And my mile PR is like 4:40. So I felt like when I just got into the race and I didn't worry about splits, I worried about racing and trying to beat as many people as possible. I think that I raced the best actually.
Yeah, and I guess coming into that 10K, I mean, we can kind of break it down, but when you go to a meet, like a big conference meet like this, like what's it like just showing up there?
It's pretty cool. 'Cause I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I just like being able to represent Florida State and just get out there and try and race my best. Yeah, there's pressure on it just because of like team scores, I guess, but my coach is really good with trying to take the pressure off of me because I put a like naturally I think that we're the hardest on ourselves. So she tries to keep me lighter in the head and I feel like I had my parents, like my mom was with me, like she came out to this meet. So I spent a lot of time with her and we were just joking and it was, I don't know, it was just like a fun meet. I wouldn't say that, I don't really know. I don't know how to like describe it. I feel like it was just, ACCs was just fun. That's how I describe it.
I don't know. Once you step onto the track, the vibe is just, there's so much energy, I guess, the energy there.
Yeah, for sure. And even with like the 5K, because we got weather delayed for 3 hours. So we ended up leaving the meet and went back to the hotel. And then when they told us that it was like back on schedule, we came back and stuff. But I feel like it was just like a blur. It was just like funny because there's so many things that happen that it was just like, oh, okay, now we're racing at 10 o'clock at night. So it was like you can't control many things. So you kind of just have to be ready. Like even for regionals, like we could possibly get weather delayed and you just have to adjust and be able to like be ready for anything that may happen or be thrown at you because you can't really control it. The only thing you can control is your attitude and effort. And if you're negative from the start, like, oh, why do we, like, seriously, why is the weather delayed? Like, we could have already been done, like all this. Once it's in your head that way, you're going to think that way. So you kind of just have to control your attitude and effort.
See, that's why people always like joke about it's all about the vibes, but it kind of is. It's your mindset.
Yeah, for sure. Like, that's what I was talking about with indoor. Like, I hit a mental block, and your mindset really can affect you. Because when I finally got over it, that was kind of when everything started clicking a little bit more, because I was able to train where I should be training, or not just train, but like race where I should be, because I was able to do the training. And that's what was so frustrating with indoor, because my training was there. It was just my mental side had like killed me for my indoor season. And it was so unfortunate, because like fitness wise, I was a lot more fit than what I had showed.
Which, I mean, I feel like even having those moments too, it's definitely beneficial for you as an athlete, because then you know how to handle that, and you've already experienced that kind of like the upset of the mind.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I think that everything kind of has helped me for like that ACC meet, because freshman year is, I just call it freshman year. Like, you're going to have a lot of ups, you're going to have a lot of downs, but you learn a lot. And I think that's what helps the most.
And even with that, I mean, I know you kind of mentioned it earlier too with, getting points for the team, but obviously you won the 10K. What kind of went into the planning or the thought process of doing the double?
Honestly, we didn't know for sure if I was going to do it. We kind of were entered into the both, but we were going to see how I felt after the 10K, just because I'd never done it. But there was never any pressure for me to do the double from either of my coaches. So that I really appreciated, but there was never any pressure. But I'm the type of person, I typically feel better once I'm warmed up. So I told my coach that I wanted to get through the warm up and then I'll see how I felt. And I ended up feeling perfectly fine. So then I raced the 5K and I just gave it my best effort. But it was never like a planned thing to for sure do it. It was kind of just like see how I was going to feel.
Okay, yeah. So it seems like the plan was to go all in for the 10K.
Yeah, for sure. The 10K was my main event for that race, but we didn't know how that was going to go. So I was even projected to score in that race because I had no time coming in. So, but I knew where my fitness was and what I could possibly do. And I told myself literally leading into that week, like, I'm going to give it my best effort. I know I have a shot to win. I'm going to dig down deep when it starts to hurt and just give it my best effort. So then when I cross that finish line, I can be proud and say that I gave it my best effort. And I think that I executed that. And I even think that I could possibly, if we got a tiny, like, because we went out kind of very controlled and then we squeezed it down a lot, but it opens my eyes for what I could possibly run in it.
Yeah, and I guess coming into the starting line of that 10K, I mean, when you're lining up before the gun goes off, like what's going through your mind?
For the 10K, I was kind of just excited. I'm not really sure. I was just like, I knew it was a lot of laps. I think that was the thing that stressed me out the most. I was like, oh, how am I going to feel when I see 19 laps to go, 18 laps to go? But then we started and we hit mile 1. And I honestly thought we were on our 3rd lap. Like, I lost track right away. I kind of just shut off my mind because I was sitting on the girl's shoulder and I just shut off my mind and the laps went by super fast. And when I finished, it did not feel like we ran that far.
It's so many laps.
Yeah, it's one of those events that like you could get very mental very fast, like when you see those lap counts. But for me, I really just tried to shut off my mind and not think about it. And then when I felt good, I decided just to go. And yeah, that's kind of, there wasn't much going through my mind during that race because I don't really remember much of it.
Yeah, because I mean, I know you said like the field kind of went out to a slower start, but when you hit that halfway point at the 5K, coming in from mile 1 to mile 3, I mean, how did those miles play out?
Yeah, our first 5K was honestly really slow and it didn't feel taxing whatsoever at that point. So that's kind of, I feel like why in the second 5K I was able to go sub 1550 because like we weren't really pushing too much on that first 5K.
Point did you decide like, okay, it's time to at least start making a move?
It was so the girl that I was sitting on like her shoulders, she tried to like get out of the way. She, I think, was going farther back in the pack. And I kind of looked to my coach because it was before when she had originally told me to start pushing. And I was like, what do I do? And she's like, go. So she gave me the okay to go. And that's when I just went.
How far out was that? Like 1,000 meters, 800, 600?
It was right around that 5K mark.
Oh, wow. That early.
Yeah.
Okay.
I honestly didn't even, like, after this whole weekend, until I went back and looked at my splits, I was like, oh, I did not know that I had actually run that. And it was very mind opening to where, like, and helped me, like, it's given me a lot of confidence that, like, my fitness is in a lot better place than where I actually thought it was.
Yeah. I mean, when you looked at those splits, is there anything that stood out to you?
For these past couple, like, indoor and stuff, I always struggled with my last lap and closing. But when I look back at both of those races, for both races, that, like, I was able to close closer to what I practice in practice at the end of a workout. So it's like I was able to basically perform to where I was practicing, like how practice makes perfect. The practice kind of allowed me to be able to do that at the end of the race.
Yeah, because it's nice to see like when that hard work like finally pays off. And I guess, like in the final 200 meters of the 10K, I mean, what's going through your mind? Like, do you even know like where you're at on the clock?
Well, there was a clock over there, but I didn't really process it. And I really didn't process it because I didn't even know I was that close to my school record either. I was 5 seconds off of my school record. So I wasn't really thinking that much because I didn't, like, based on how we went out, I did not think we were anywhere near that time. I didn't even think we were going under 33. So then when I saw 32 something, like, as I'm coming down the line, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that's shocking because, like, at the beginning of the race, we were nowhere near that for the halfway mark.
And of course, obviously, you cross the finish line, like how's it feel to win a conference championship on your true freshman year?
Oh, it was crazy. Like, I just started crying. Like, I literally just started crying and I went over to my coach and my mom and my teammates, and like it was a crazy moment. I knew I had a shot. I just like wasn't expecting it though. It was kind of like once it happened, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that actually just happened. Like, everything has kind of paid off and it was all worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I guess looking ahead to the rest of the season, I mean, because I guess the season's already at the point where it's getting ready to wrap up here soon.
Yeah.
Are you still going to focus on the 10K or the 5K?
So I think I'm going to start focusing on the 10K because I think that's my new favorite event now, which is crazy. Like, my mom did the shortest event in college and I'm doing the longest event, but it was really fun. But I think that we were gonna, like, I was thinking about maybe the double, but then I also want to try and qualify for Worlds at the end of the season for U20s. So I think like it's just smarter to focus on one and hopefully make nationals in the 10K, and then the week after try and qualify for U20 Worlds for the 5K. Because that one we're hosting, so like Eugene, like US is hosting, so it'd be cool to represent here.
That's what's exciting too. The US is hosting a lot of world championships.
Yeah. Yeah, we hosted cross and now we're hosting track.
And I guess we can kind of close it out with, if you had advice to anyone going out for running, just, running itself and trying to compete, I mean, what's your best advice?
Honestly, I would say just to keep it fun, because once it's not fun, it's like running is a very hard sport. And if you're not enjoying it like mentally, your body's not going to enjoy it physically, because your mind controls your body so much. So if you just keep it fun, and not put too much pressure on it, then you'll continue like loving it and you won't dread doing it. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, that's what gets a lot of people away from it. Cause like other sports, running seem as a punishment, but then like if you do it for your sport, it's not a punishment if you don't make it. Like, you can make it fun. So if you just try and enjoy it, I feel like you'll have a good time with it.
I think that's the best way to go about it. But hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for reaching out.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. You too.
Bye.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Florida Trail Runners podcast. Out in the woods, out in the swamps, down by the Willie Coochie. It started with a podcast, that's the thing. The Florida Trail Runners. I see a skunk ape, chasing me down, chasing me down. I'm doing the long haul, running all over town, all over town. A station to A station, I see the skunk ape, chasing me down. I'm doing the long haul, running all over town, all over town. Starting in the north, Tallahassee. Starting Central Florida, Tampa, Ocala, Orlando, Day City. Green Swamp, headed down south. Headed to the Keys, lake to ocean. Miami, out to the East Coast, Daytona, Jacksonville, Pioneer Trail. On a single trail, running 1 to 100 miles. A station to A station, all around. The Florida Trail Runner. Feet hit dirt where the palm trees sway. Mossy oaks, palmetto, pines, and cypress knees. All grass bending, go find your way. Swarm is rising, every step I take, I feel it flow. Each sun rises.